Call this meeting order. This is a Ware County Commission work session, Monday, August 29th, 3:30. If y'all would, ask the chief if he would to say a prayer for us.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for your goodness, your grace, your mercy. Father, we thank you for loving us. And Lord, we thank you for all that you've done for this community and each one of us. Lord, let everything that we do today be pleasing to you. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's do a roll call first. Bursey, Mr. Pope.
Present.
Mr. Lucas.
Present.
Mr. Barner.
Present.
Okay.
Mr. Burse is on the intercom now.
He's on the intercom. Yeah, I heard him. Okay. We have a guest speaker. Item's not on the agenda. Okay, Mr. David Johnson. Would you come up to the podium and explain?
David Johnson, 2375 North Club Bay Road. There's a problem with the drainage out along the ditch, along our property, so it stopped at Joby's house, Joby Maddox's house at 2365 North Club Bay Road. Seems like the culvert is underneath his driveway is reversed. It points, its highest point is on the other side of the driveway that leaves all of my 3 ditches and my neighbor's ditch all full of water. It takes anywhere from a week to 2 weeks to dry out when there's no rain. So it's been about 8 years or more since the grade all was out there and dug out the ditch. We do have a lot of migrating sand, and I guess the sand went down there too. So if we could get somebody out there and look at that and fix that, so I don't have a mosquito farm out front.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't.
We got a question for Brandon, Mr.
Yeah,
Wallace.
Brandon.
Did the county install these culverts?
No, sir.
Who put them in?
My understanding that the contractor that built those houses and developed that area,
So they weren't installed to county specifications? Or review?
no, sir.
Who was the contractor?
I heard the developer, I can't
There's
recall.
Stacy
the name.
Rouse, I believe,
Melvin.
wanted to be a lot of
Stacy
money.
Rouse.
I think that's right.
But in this situation where the county didn't install them, would it be the landowner's responsibility to straighten them out, put new covers in?
Well, according to our latest, policy on driveway pipes, we leave that up to the landowner to put them in. We seem like that would be up to that landowner to correct the situations if we're no longer in the driveway pipe.
Plus also, most of these covers has got cement on top of them also, haven't they? I think the one in the picture does,
Yep.
and we certainly wouldn't be responsible for pouring new cement on top of the cover.
No, sir. How you would rectify this particular instance where you have an installed driveway pipe and he's impacting the drainage in the area? I don't know if Jimbo's here or not. We got anything against that in our subdivision or anything, Jimbo? Or we have some way of citing somebody for?
There's the ordinance is, addresses blocking drainage. I had to read details on it, but I don't know. That more relates to trash, putting trash in the ditch and stuff like that.
I don't know as far as the date. Commissioner, you have any idea when that was done?
Them houses built probably about, see, I built mine in 2001, probably about 2005, 6, somewhere along there. Mr. Johnson, is that about when your house was born? I mean, built?
I moved in 2005,
Okay.
and it was all done. Now, I put in the second driveway, and the county did put in the culvert for me
And then I had somebody come out and concrete it, and that's when I had the, Class A motorhome.
Is that one draining good, one you put in, what you can?
All my stuff drains good, it just stops at Joey's, cause that culvert pipe is,
Jacked up?
doesn't go downhill, it goes uphill.
Man, I guess you could talk to Joby, see if he can straighten it out. If it's not the county's responsibility.
We probably need to do our research first and find out if there's any ground for us to stand on to approach the homeowner. We do have a ground based on what we have in the
Right.
code.
It's probably right there on the end of that pipe instead of the whole pipe, ain't it? It looked like to me it just sticking up.
Are you seeing some
pipe.
curvature in the pipe?
Yes.
That's what I was told. It looked like the sun had maybe caused it to bow a little bit or something.
It probably needs to dig under and lower it down.
Where the downhill side is higher.
It is.
Is that the plastic pipe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the one that the county says that you have to put in.
Yeah.
It's that really expensive pipe. Concrete.
Okay.
Okay. I guess we'll let Michael look at it, see what he can do about it. You know, see what we can do, report back to us on it. Is that what we're gonna do, Scott?
Yes, sir.
That Michael?
Yep, we'll take a look at it, see what can be done in that end.
We didn't pave them driveways. Okay. Anything else?
There was supposed to be someone who was gonna show up, I think last name's Tanner, I don't know if they signed up or what. Oh, there he is, in the corner. Yeah, he wanted to speak if he could.
Okay. Come on up.
Mr. Bryant, how you doing?
Doing good. What's going on, Tim? How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Hey, I wanted to speak to you this evening about one of our biggest concerns and complaints is the trains. All right, I'm not here to place blame. I want to talk about corrective actions. What we can do to solve the problem, basically. And my first question for you guys is everybody aware that by statute, Ware County can fine the railroad when their train stops and blocks our roadways? Is that misinterpretation? Is that fact?
Well, when I contacted the FRA some years ago, right about the time when it really started to become an issue, and they said that we could have a local ordinance to do that, but I don't know how well legally that would stand up, but the commission could do that.
Okay. So from a legal standpoint, hey guys, I'm sorry, I don't know how much time I have. You're probably gonna see my face about every week, but from a legal standpoint, is there anybody on this committee that's opposed to doing such?
Mr. Tanner, if I may, Mr. Chairman, this is public comment, so you're welcome to address any comments you would like to toward the board, but it's not question and answer time. So you're welcome to ask them those questions afterwards, but if you'll just at this point direct any comments that you have and let them know what your concerns are, and then we can, address those as needed.
And you can't poll the commission on a question neither.
I'm sorry?
I said you can't poll each commissioner on a question under public comments. Like say, Mr. Lucas, are you for this? Mr. Barnard, are you for this? You can't do that.
No, as an elected official, you're not required to say if you're against or opposed.
Not in public comment, can you, Jennifer? Because your public comment just stating facts, but you can't ask each one out for a certain result.
Okay.
And also on the train ticketing, if you got a train block out here on US 1 at State Street, a deputy can't go up to the engineer and write him a ticket for it. You can't charge a train engineer or conductor a citation for blocking that thing. You have to drop the train number down, go directly to Jacksonville and ticket the corporate office.
Okay. So let me start over then.
Okay.
Instead of talking about what we can't do, let's talk about what we can do.
Okay.
Okay? So if we can, the first thing we need to do is get the sheriff and the chief of police. We need to get the state legislators, the state prosecutor, okay? We need to start compiling those laws and getting a judge behind it and getting the legalities out of the way, okay? Fair enough? Okay. Once we do that, then we can start imposing what our laws state.
I mean, if the judge and the sheriff is willing to do that, I'm sure the county commission will go along with you.
Okay, let me ask you this. Is it a fair statement? And I'm almost, matter of fact, I know this one. I know we can find this information out. Is it a fair statement that we, today, current conditions today, we have ambulances, EMS vehicles, police, fire trucks that are being rerouted because a train has roadways blocked? I'm assuming that answer is yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm assuming we all are aware of that.
The state's.
And I guess my question is, and I guess I can't ask you that question directly, if you're okay with that under the current conditions. And I guess what I'm saying is, guys, it's time for us to roll up our sleeves and let's start solving this problem. And it's gonna take everybody, okay? And I understand that my request is, yeah, we're fixing to go to war with CSX. Okay? I get it. I mean, I've talked to a few of the officials and y'all been in meetings with them, and my understanding is they pretty much dictate those meetings. And all I'm saying is it's really cut and dry. Does CSX run this county or do we run this county? And it's time for us to start doing our part, getting our ducks in a row from a legality standpoint, and making sure that we're doing what's right for this community. Now, I understand they pay their fair share of taxes, okay? I do not want to run CSX out of Ware County. That's not my goal, okay? But this is getting extreme, okay, guys? And it's time for you guys to figure out what you want to do. I've got a whole list of things that I would strongly recommend, but it's time for us to do something. Is everybody in agreement with that?
I mean, we've been fighting.
Well,
this.
we've been fighting this ever since I've been here, Bryant, we've been fighting this.
Yeah.
And part of the remedy, if I could, Ms. Herzog, are the overpasses that
Yes.
we've already
Yeah.
been implemented and are in play, basically.
Yeah.
And that's going to alleviate, I would say, about 65-70% of the blockage.
Okay, well, what time frame are you talking about?
Well, we took bids in the last month on one of the overpasses, and the other ones are within the next 6 months to a year taking bids on.
Huh?
6 months
No.
to a year, further out than that.
Overpass?
Yeah.
They have been a bids out on overpasses.
The one,
That's not over,
That's a
you talking
bridge.
about Jamestown, that's just
That's
a
a
bridge
bridge.
across Kettle Creek.
yeah, it's just a bridge.
It'd probably be 2024 before State Street goes out, ain't it? The last thing you said-
March of 2023, they'll start the right-of-way acquisition
Right.
there on State
Okay.
Street.
So, I mean, it's just, stuff like that takes time.
Oh, yes, yeah, and I respect that, I understand that. But we also have to understand and realize that the underpasses that we currently have, that are pretty much being, all day long, heavy traffic going around trains, those roadways right there get worn out pretty quick because it's constant traffic right there. You know what I mean? And so let's just say, heaven forbid, that next year or the next 6 months, we have an issue and we have to take one of them out so that we can do some road work there. Is that, you understand where I'm going with that? So then it multiplies the concern and the issue. And all I'm saying is I realize you guys have been battling this for years and years and years, but we haven't gotten anywhere. And seriously, guys, it's time for us to get somewhere on. And the overpasses and all that, spending that money, that's fine. But right now, we could be taking action as far as finding them. And if nothing else, help with the gas prices in this county for people in this community that need that relief from running around and going around trains all day long, every day. And I just strongly recommend from where I stand in this community, that we do the right thing and do what's best for this county. And if that is button heads with CSX, then that's what we have to do. Any comments from any of you guys?
I mean, the only thing I can say, we just need to get our council to research this law, which I'm sure y'all have already have. Before you start writing tickets to the railroad, you got to figure out what the law says, how long they can sit on that track before they're being ticketed. But then, just like I said a few minutes ago, you can't walk up to the train and write the engineer a ticket.
Yeah.
Federal law says you can't do that.
Yeah.
And also, and this is just prior law, and Steve knows this, also prior law enforcement experience. You know, for us to issue a citation as a prior law enforcement officer, you have to have a driver's license, right? Or you don't have a driver's license, you get locked up and go to jail. Well, engineers, to be an engineer or conductor on that train, they do not have to have a driver's license. They have a permit. So that's why we can't go up to the train and write them a citation, because they're not required by law to show us the license.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering from that standpoint, when we know that the train stopped and how many roadways it's blocking, from that data, can we just send that up to their corporate office in Jacksonville or send it down to Jacksonville with the citations? And the point is again, we keep talking about the limitations on it. And I feel like personally that most of that's because we don't have our ducks in a row and we haven't started from and I understand, I respect, Timmy, your history of working with the Ware Cross Police Department, and I commend you for that. But my point is at some point we got to start getting all this documentation in place and start that process of what that looks like and entertaining that thought. Because we're sitting here wasting time and money if we legally can find them for the, really, here's the nuts and bolts of it. My understanding is in the meetings that y'all have with them, that they talk about impeding their right of way. Okay? They're impeding our right of way. They're blocking our roadways. They're blocking our roadways to the point that the ambulance, the police can't get in a timely manner to unfortunately, it could be an accident. It could be a medical issue. I mean, there's a whole list of things it could be, possibilities. But the bottom line is, they don't care about blocking our roadways. We're more concerned about what we can and can't do when it comes to them. And all I'm saying is we need to flip that script, and we need to flip that switch, and we need to start roll up our sleeves and start thinking about what we can do.
Yeah.
And from this point forward, let's start moving on that. Not from a 5-year plan, from a January of 2023 plan.
Scott, is there an ordinance, how long they can block a crossing in the
Well, I do know
county
there
or the
was
city?
there was a bill introduced in legislation this past year, House bill, that would prohibit the trains from blocking crossings for in excess of 15 minutes unless there was a mechanical issue or something along those lines. And it did not gain any traction.
It didn't even,
Yeah.
it didn't
wasn't even
pass.
looked at
It kind of
twice.
crashed and burned, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it didn't go nowhere.
No, sir.
I think, Ms. Herzog, hadn't you done a little bit of research in this area?
We did, and a lot of Mr. Tanner's comments, I mean, I've heard the same from the commission over the years. Unfortunately, this is an issue in Ware County, specific to Ware County, that needs to be addressed. I think it's something that the board's aware of, that they've talked about at length over the years, and have tried to address through these overpasses. And you know, I think you're right, that does take time, but Mr. Tanner, I think it's important, you know, I think everybody understands what the problem is because it's been discussed before. There are, you know, different avenues to go down. There's roadblocks down certain avenues, but we continue to explore what those options are. So if, you know, you want to partner with the board in determining, you know, what those best options are, I don't think would have any objection to that. You know, we want to hear what all the options are, and then ultimately, of course, it's up to this board to make that best decision. So there is state law that the county manager referenced earlier. I was hopeful about that bill that Mr. Moy referenced, but you know, we see where our General Assembly felt with that. So I think you're heard, and I think what we can do is take a fresh eye to it, and you know, see see what our options are as we wait for these overpasses to help alleviate the problem.
Glad you was here because this is one of the things I want done in Ware County is we need some overpasses and underpasses. And we talked to the railroad and, Scott and I were talking to him one day. He said, what y'all need to do is build some overpasses and underpasses. He said, cause the train is gonna get worse. And so this is probably our biggest issue is we need to work on that. And we need help from the state or somebody, cause we can't do it by ourselves.
And we also
But
need
we've
help
got
from
to have
citizens
help.
like you too.
Well, I just want you guys to know, I'm not here to dump in your lap.
I understand.
That's not my objective here, okay? I want resolution. I want us to come up with a short-term action plan. Long-term, it sounds like you guys have already been explored the avenue for overpasses and underpasses, and that's all great and grand. But that's 5-6 years down the road from what it's looking like. You know, and maybe it's 4 years down the road. But there's things that we can do now. I just feel like we need to be doing it. And I'm not gonna fester, I'm not gonna burden you guys, I'm not gonna keep hounding you, but I'm not going away is what I'm saying. Cause y'all don't know how many times I'm in my car or my truck and my blood pressure goes way up. You know what I'm saying? And from that perspective, I welcome the opportunity to sit down with you guys. Man, let's get some lawyers in the room. But like I say, let's roll our sleeves up and let's get to work because we gotta get this done. This is the number one priority from where I sit in Ware County. And I'm not saying everything else you're working on is not important, but this is out of control, and we gotta get it back under control.
We all know that, and it's way overdue. Way overdue. It should have been done, looked at, but.
And we do have help in the General Assembly.
We know that.
We do.
And I think Steve or Jerry came up with something one time. We needed to do a study of which roads we really needed to work on first. I think I heard one of them mention that one time before, that we needed to do a study on the most important roads that needed an overpass or either an underpass.
I'd like to add also this current splosh we're working on now, hopefully it'll pass November, the city and the county have dedicated $10 million of that money for an overpass on Albany Avenue.
On Albany Avenue.
Yeah.
That's one reason we need the splosh to pass.
If it passes in November, we'll be building that one right away.
Yeah, cause that'll be county money.
So when y'all wanna get back together and let's discuss this? I'm not allowed to ask that now.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Commissioner Burse, I think, wanted to give a statement.
Go ahead, Leonard.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, appreciate this opportunity to address Mr. Tanner's concern, and I agree with him that we do have a problem with railroad. I think everybody's aware of that. What I suggested a while back, and I still strive for that, is maybe if we can get a small delegation, maybe mayor, the chairman, maybe a commissioner, somebody from the chamber, and go to Jacksonville and sit down and meet these people. They know that we're having a problem here, but we need to see what kind of solution we can work out until the road passes are constructed. We need to try to take care of something now. And as Mr. Tanner alluded to, about the blocking of the crossing, emergency vehicles, things of that nature. And I think that it would be nice if we could go there and meet with them, and tell them, hey, we know we got a problem. You know, you all have a business operator. We need to try to see if we can find some common ground here to try to see if we can do something until those overpasses are put into place. And as I said, we're talking about Albany Avenue, we're talking about State Street, but those are years, maybe down the road, a few years anyway. So I think that'd be something that we could do, and maybe try to work with the railroad and try to partner with them and try to let them know that, hey, we try to work this out together and not try to get too heavy-handed with them right now, but try to see if we can work something out with them. And I think that'd be a good thing if we could do that. But I agree that we do have a problem, and not having just got to be a problem. It's always been a problem, and it's getting worse. So anyway, I just wanted to say that, and I appreciate Mr. Tanner's concern. And one other thing too, I think that at some point, I don't know if Scott has a way of doing it right now, or anyone is doing it, but kind of start documenting. Because when we go to these people, we need to let them know on such a date, and if you always get that engine number, they can pretty much identify what train it is. let them know how long that crane sat there, how many hours it was sitting there, and, you know, it could be like someone said, it could be a mechanical issue or something with the dispatcher, but we need to try to see what we can work out with the railroad to try to get this taken care of before it gets to be a worse problem than it already is. So I just want to say that.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Leonard.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Can you leave your long list that you said you had with the manager, please?
Yes, I will give everything I have outlined to Mr. Moore. I sure will. Hey, guys, but real quick, before I let everybody else, I want to ease everybody's mind on one thing. This is not a disgruntled employee. I've never been involved, associated with CSX in any way, okay? This is just straight up, I'm going around trains way too often, is all I'm saying, all right? And so that, I just want to make clear the air on that. There's nothing like that associated with this at all. This is just.
I want to thank you, Mr. Tanner, for raising that issue. I
Appreciate you bringing it
Thank
up.
you for your time, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Anybody else on that? Okay, we'll get on to the agenda items. The resolution 2022-12 approved Ware County Board of Education millage rate. Scott, they want to approve what they have.
Yes, sir. They're recommending the millage rate for the Ware County Board of Education to be at 15.022.
Yes, go ahead.
And their rate was 16.292, going with the rollback rate. And this resolution approves that millage rate, the rollback rate.
Okay, what did you say that was, 16?
16.292. It's a difference of 1.27 mils.
Okay. Okay, that's pretty good rollback. Any discussion on it? All right. Not, we'll carry it over to the meeting. Let's go to B, Resolution 2022-3, adoption of the 2023 millage rate for the county.
Yes, sir. This is the rollback rate of 13.852. The current rate now that is in place is 15.073, and it's a difference of 1.22 mils. So it's the rollback rate.
All right. Any discussion on that one? Roger, you want to explain anything to us? Fair enough. Good enough. All right. Anybody any questions on it? All right, we'll carry it over.
Motion that we accept the rollback millage rate of 13.852 for Ware County from the current millage rate of 15.073.
Mr. Chairman, we'll just wait till we get to the call meeting
We're
portion
gonna do
for
it
the
in the
formal
meeting.
vote.
This is just a work session, correct? Okay.
Okay, I got ahead of myself. Okay.
All right. Thank you. You're all right.
That was not when you miss one meeting.
Yeah. Okay. On C, bid award, Tanner Lane, Wind Clay Drive Extension Project. Okay.
I was going to see if Brandon could introduce it, but he's out in the hallway.
I asked him to come in.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Is Brandon?
He's out there talking to Tanner.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Wind Clay project.
Brandon, you come up and explain this bid award to us?
We got some bids the other day for the Wing Clay project, and, the apparent low bidder was, Underground Excavating, Mr. Eccles over in Patterson. And, we had 3 bids. They were all competitive bids, pretty good bidding process. They're a little bit more than we were anticipating, but we, had an estimate of 2 years old. We've had a lot of inflation going on.
Right.
It really seems to have caught up with us in the last 6 months or so with construction prices. And so, all things being said, I think it's a really, really good bid, and I don't think it's gonna get any cheaper. So I think we should, these people in Jamestown are needing some relief, and so I think this is, would be a good thing for them to get them in and out, with all the train traffic and everything. The blockages there seem to be increasing, and getting worse.
Okay, good. Have you checked him out now, bid bonds, everything's in order?
Yes, sir.
Everything's good?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if we approve it, okay. Right of ways has been taken care of?
Yes, sir.
Everything's in order, okay, good.
So this is
Anybody?
triple surface treatment you're recommending?
No, sir, I think that's asphalt.
It's asphalt. Yeah,
Is that the best way to go? Asphalt, surface
I think
street?
that's what it was, asphalt, I think. Yeah, I think it's soil cement base is what we recommended going with asphalt.
with asphalt. Okay. Any more questions?
I've got one thing to bring up, Mr. Chairman. I had a citizen reach out to me in reference to this same concept of the bridge off of Wing Clay to Stetson. And brought up a very good point, very valid point. There's two roads that are basically halfway. One goes from Cherokee towards Wakeona, the other one goes from Wakeona towards Cherokee. And right now, the only connection we have between Cherokee and Wakeona, or even Blackshear and Wakeona, is ABC Avenue or Dorothy Street. And his comment to me is we could look at those two roads to help give some relief in that area other than relying on ABC Avenue, which we all know is a one-lane road. And we're gonna wind up having some bad accidents or something down there because the railroad has went in already and put 4x4 posts in, and really reduced how wide ABC Avenue is in certain sections. But there are two roads, I had them wrote down.
Monroe Street would be one of them.
It's halfway. I remember the name Monroe, and there was, like I say, there's one that goes from Cherokee towards Wakeona that's halfway. And Mr. Wallace, you might know what I'm talking about. And there's one from Wakeona that goes halfway towards Cherokee, but it was never finished. And that would be, in my opinion, just like the citizen brought up, would be a good way of relieving some of that traffic from being so much on ABC Avenue or so much on Dorothy, which is where an elementary school is. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And it'd be very inexpensive to finish
what
it.
is that, Adams Street?
I can't remember. He told me the two
Adams.
names. I had them wrote down. I
Yeah,
could not remember.
Adams and Monroe.
I think Adams goes through there and has a dead end and road.
But I believe that would help, alleviate some of that road fluctuation and that road stress
I
whenever.
think
the
me
bridge
and
is
the county
complete.
manager talked about that one time,
Yep,
didn't we?
sure did. That's what I was pulling it up.
Okay. Anything else on it?
That was it.
It's good to me.
Yeah, if you go to, I think if you went in there to try to do some improvements or even some widening to ABC, you're still gonna be back at trying to deal with CSX on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta get
And
back.
we'll be back in that same situation we did on this project,
Right.
where they basically threw us out of the right of way. So
And you can't get no closer to the homes than
that's correct.
we already
Unless you,
are. on
unless you bought
ABC.
them, you'd have to go in
Unless we
there,
buy 'em.
and it'd be a total tape to go in there and buy all the properties up to do it.
And there's a pile of them in there.
Yeah, there are.
But that would just be, to me, just like he brought up, I'm just beating myself up because I didn't think of it, but that's why I like citizens' input. Because, we have them out there and they come to us with their advice, and it's very good advice. We could help alleviate some of that road traffic. Because we know when that bridge gets built, it's gonna be used every day.
Okay, any more? If not, appreciate it, Brandon. We'll carry it over to the meeting. Okay, we got the 2023 DOT LMIG projects.
Mr. Chairman, I put this back on the commission meeting agenda for discussion, more or less to find out if there was any more ideas or thoughts on other projects to use for the LMIG funding.
Okay, well,
Who we gonna start with?
Any questions on it? Any comments on these? Doing these roads, Slash Pine, Wadley, Gibbs, Old Shop Road, Sixth Avenue, and Griffin Road. Do surface treatment on them. Just on the right of way that's there.
I've consulted with the, engineering department, and I'm still working on it. Mr. Wallace and I, a few streets in District Two that I would like to put on the list. I don't think that, I don't know that has anybody else got any roads to
Add to it.
Yeah.
I've got a couple, yes, sir.
I'd like to put, as we discussed, put all those together and sit down and then come up with a list.
Okay. I think you're right there, Jerry. What we need to do is come up with the, we got a few more, and I know it's been mentioned on this.
Right.
And,
All I need in my district is some of mine fixed. I don't care anything about paving anymore, not in my district, just need to repair what we got already.
some of these in your district.
Yeah, well, that's me. I mean, there's drainage
Griffin Road.
problems that need working
That
on
is,
and
yeah.
just a lot of stuff.
Slash Pine.
Sit down and
Slash Pine's yours.
Slash Pine's mine, yeah.
Yeah,
come up with a plan.
okay. All right. We need to do that.
We got time.
Okay.
And I was gonna mention too, we got the required 10% match. You can always go over to match. You can use, we have regional money, regional T-Splosh money. You can add to that to kind of spread it out throughout the county, however y'all want to do it. So
Okay.
not just limited to what the amount was for LMIG.
We could, add a few more then, Jerry, if you and, Tim will come up with what y'all wanna add to it.
I know which ones I'd like to add already.
They,
Y'all have mine to Brandon the next couple of days.
yeah, need to get with Brandon and let's see if we can put them on there and
Okay.
we'll get with Scott, see if if they'll fit in the budget. Okay. All right, on the, connector roads, and we wanna do this paving rather than this overlay.
Well, the two that I would mention would be paving, it's not overlay, they're dirt.
Yeah.
But it would be connecting two paved roads together. And to me, it's kind of a moot point. If you got a road paved on this side and a road paved on this side, and you got two dirt roads in the middle, and you got people going off of dirt on the pavement, they're gonna destroy that paved road. Eventually, it's gonna wear it out.
Yeah.
So just pave it all, connect the paves, like connecting the dots, connect the pavement. That way they're not traveling on dirt.
Okay.
Good project for that, the big money would be, like Timmy said, over on Wacona Drive, making another road for them people to exit off of Wacona Drive, cut through to Ware.
Cherokee
That'd
or,
be a good idea to spend some of that money over there to get some of the traffic off of Wacona and Dorothy and ABC Avenue, if they have to go that way from the train block.
Well, the train block, though, they can't go down Ware Street either,
But they can get funneled right on in back
they
into
can funnel
town.
back
though.
into Cherokee and lead them up to Black
Dorothy
Cherry.
Street, Riverside, Sunnyside, Tebow, it'd be just like fanning out.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's times when there's a train on that track on ABC Avenue, they got ABC Avenue blocked all the way past Cherokee.
Wacona Drive, same way.
I mean, it's terrible. And then Wacona will back up almost all the way to Dorothy.
Yeah.
Because there's no egress anywhere other than
Them two
ABC or Dorothy, that's it.
We need to look at that, then I guess, let Brandon look into it.
Maybe Brandon and Gene can furnish us with some maps and have maybe a short call meeting one afternoon or early morning and sit down and get some direction. That's what I like. I mean, we're talking about a bunch of money
Yeah.
to be spending. Try to get it the best we can, but most value.
We're just talking about what I brought up, Mr. Wallace, about maybe another road to go through besides just relying on Dorothy or relying on ABC.
When were you wanting the match, Mr.?
Whenever we have a meeting.
Okay. Talking about the first meeting next month?
Talking about a little call, short meeting, or be ready, whenever the chairman wants to have it.
Yeah, we need to have a meeting on it.
I'd rather
That's
sit
up
down
Tim.
early one morning and,
Yes, sir.
just go over it, just that.
Yes, sir.
Cause I'm not up on what he's wanting to do either, I don't
All
know.
right, I see they give
I don't,
that.
I don't know what he,
I'll try to pull up an aerial photograph, send it to you.
yeah. Okay. Any more on it? If not, let's go to E, Ware Fire Department building.
Mr. Manager, you want to explain the situation over there?
Yes, sir. It was this item was discussed at the August 8th meeting, and there was some interest in looking to see what could be done to replace the existing block building with a steel building. Well, last week, Public Works went out and did some test holes to find out what the ground looked like, and from what we were able to determine, we would actually have to go in and do some earthwork and create the building pad for that, there where it's located. I don't know if Brandon's gotten any more vendors to respond to his inquiry about the amount. Did you ever hear back?
Sir, I was expecting to get an email back from him, and I still haven't heard anything back. I need to make a few phone calls.
Yeah, we were told that the size building was roughly about $25,000, and that included the concrete foundation. But that's been some time ago. We think that would be much higher now, more than the 25. But the Public Works could do the demolition and build the pad there for the building if that's what the commission so desired. We still don't have any estimates yet, but that was the estimate some years ago.
This building, does it have to have dressing rooms too, or a
No,
bathroom
sir.
and dressing room?
Basically, it's just a single bay for one truck.
One truck?
Yes,
No-
sir.
no-
Yeah, it's a double bay now, but all we would need is just a single bay.
Single bay,
Yes, sir.
just for the truck?
Probably need a bathroom in it.
Yeah,
They
And
don't
the
need a
bathroom
bay.
in the one that's out there now.
Yeah, we need a bathroom in it.
yeah.
Probably.
Cause lots of
Okay.
times, I mean, Brooks made a comment the other day, lots of times when a road grader's out in that area working and they had to go to the restroom, I mean, they can go right there to the fire department and use the restroom and stuff. With way so many cameras and stuff out now, people
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
knows
would,
what's going on.
I think it would need a restroom.
I've got a question for the fire chief. When we were out there the other day, 20-some years ago, we remodeled, rebuilt, 1942 engine, one of the first that the county had, but there was no other fire truck in there.
No, sir,
How long does it stay empty all the time
yes, sir, that just needs to be a one bay station.
One
We
bay.
just got that old truck, keep it out of the weather, cause
Right.
we don't have any shelters at Station 1 to keep it under. That's what we
where's the regular truck?
It was we had one in the shop, we had to use the Wasboro truck as a first out truck.
How many volunteers are out there?
Roughly between 5 and 10.
5 and 10?
Now that's support and suppression, yeah. We got probably 5 on the roster. According to who it shows up, I mean, we got a class going on now. We got 2 from Wasboro that's in the class now.
Okay. And I question the need for a new one if there's not much use in it, but we can look at it. I mean, I'm not opposed whatsoever to getting quotes, make a decision. Is the building continue to fall over or?
Yes, sir. It's the right-hand side of it. It's gonna keep shifting to where it eventually just falls down.
I mean, you can stand inside to see daylight on the outside now, it's so bad.
Yeah, you can stick your hand almost to the back wall.
So where will we put the little antique truck?
Well, we originally the county was gonna build a building at Station 1, a storage building, and that's where it was gonna put a spot out there for it. And then when that building didn't get built, we had to take it out from there so we could store it at Wasboro. But it did sit out for a while, and then it was at Station 1 for a while. So we had to move it once we didn't get that space at Station 1, when that building was supposed to be built. So I think y'all were gonna build a building then. I think Chief Brown was the chairman, to do a lot of storage, because we had some trucks outside then. So we had to move it from there to over there.
There's not an empty airplane hangar you can put it in?
I'm not a hanger.
How about the fireworks building where all of that stuff's stationed at?
Well, that's where we can stick it in there, but it's full of stuff too.
Maybe it needs cleaning out.
Well, we can do that. We can get rid of a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a plan on all this before I vote for it.
Yeah, we don't need it.
What you don't need, fire
Fire
department?
That building.
You're gonna have to have a building, you're gonna have to have something, because you can't continue with what you got there now. You're eventually gonna have that building fall down on top of the truck. And you can't take a fire truck out of that community and not have one put back in there. I mean, the cheapest fix to be to that building is to tear that building down and put a metal single bay building up there. That's the cheapest fix you're gonna have.
If you remove that truck, how does that affect the ISO?
If
Big
you
time.
move that truck, it's gonna affect the ISO rating, because the state's got the county divided out into different sections, and that's gonna affect that. I mean, there's more of a ripple effect than just not having a building there.
You can't repair that building that's there.
I think they repaired
Yeah,
that
they tried
building
to-
years
yeah.
ago where they jacked the floor up and it didn't work. So, I mean, I don't see that being a fix.
If we do away with the fire department in Westburg, Georgia, you gonna have some mean, mad folks on some tails.
Amen to
Because
that.
whenever their fire insurance jumps way up because of ISO ratings, and I've already had some phone calls from some of them, they're not too happy.
I still would like to see a geotechnical test done, because as we dug up, we're digging up old bushes and tree limbs, and it was put in a construction, dump site. It should never have been built there. It just filled in, hurry up, get it built. And now we got to deal with the after effects on that decision to build it on a pile of trees and
I
bushes.
think it was 1983, I believe, was when I saw that it was put in.
But I won't vote to build it on the pile of bushes again. Should be enough room to do it one bay, but
And I believe we even talked with the county manager, we could move it over to the right-hand side. And you won't need to do a bay again, so you'll be able to move it over to where you didn't have near the underbrush that was being in the other side.
We think the tree line on the other side was really the heavier area where all that was buried.
right.
So if you take it, go to one bay, it's two bay now, go to one bay and shift it more to the right, then you could get out of that area and still be, and create a smaller pad too, so.
And also too, a block wall weighs probably 10 to 15 times heavier than a steel
Yeah.
building.
This estimated price, $35,000 to $40,000, you think would do the whole deal?
Well, Brandon, I think he mentioned that they gave him a price of a single bay that was done over, where was that, Coffee County? Yeah, and so they said it was 25, but that's been just a few years ago. So we're thinking there's gonna be a considerable increase on that. That's more of a guesstimation.
Have y'all asked for the, any vendors to give us a price on it?
Yes, sir, I'm waiting on a response.
You waiting on something? Okay.
Yeah,
We took some pictures of the one in Coffee County and sent to the.
Okay.
Look at it.
All right, good. Okay, is there any more on it? Carry it over. Okay. F, South Georgia Regional Commission Technical Assistant Contract.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, Commission, this is kind of a threefold agenda. There is a contract with the Southern Georgia Regional Commission to perform technical assistant services. It's more of a general services agreement for any time we may need their help. We don't have one that's up to date, so we have to update it. And then there's two other parts. First part is two federal grants that we are going to pursue. The first one is that Reconnecting Communities pilot program, That is what's referred to as a planning grant. And we're looking to apply for funds there to have a comprehensive traffic transportation study done throughout the whole county to address some of the issues and problems we're having. The last plan we had was done in 2000, the year 2000. So that plan actually needs to be updated. There are some things also too, I was gonna mention when you were mentioning ABC. It's mentioned in that plan from 2000 to do some improvements on ABC, only to try to alleviate the train problem back in 2000. Problem's a whole lot worse now because the trains are a lot longer and there's a lot more traffic. So that's one of the things with the plan is to update that transportation plan. So that way we have a sounding board. So when we go to apply for grants, we can use that plan as a backup. And that's typically when you go for federal money, you've got to prove that what you're doing is a legitimate problem, is need or a legitimate need, and there's a problem there, and you've had it addressed. So that's to get that one out of the way. Being it's a planning grant, that's the best thing to do is try to use it for that matter. The second one there is the railroad crossing elimination program. It's a additional or another federal grant that we're going to pursue, and it's primarily for funding of the Albany Avenue overpass project. So we don't know how successful this will be because it's supposed to be a 5-year program, I believe, and so if we miss it on this shot, we still have other opportunities after that to keep applying. Right. But we're hoping maybe that with that, once we get that planning grant done, then all this other stuff will fall into place. And we could, you could get a grant to do the Albany Avenue and also sometime later, a couple of 3 years later, apply for another overpass somewhere else. Right. So this is to eliminate railroad crossings. Much like Mr. Tanner was talking about. And that's the proactive part of that, because if we can get CSX to support that, because they like closing crossings, then maybe we'll be successful in getting it.
Okay.
Good to me.
Yeah, we got to do that number 2. We got to have one in place.
Yes, sir. So there's actually 3 things to approve. The first one is the contract with the Southern Georgia Regional Commission, and then we'll also put up the 2 requisitions to be completed to fill that out.
Okay.
And the Regional Commission charges us hourly by the first person who's working on the grant. They don't receive funds. They have other contracts that they work off of, but this is totally separate from other programs that they write grants for. So we would have to pay them for their hourly cost to do that. But in my personal opinion, it's well worth it.
If it's transportation, we can use that, local T-Splosh money to pay the fees, can't we?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's all pertaining to transportation. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Or either that discretionary money we get from the state on the
You can.
regular T-Splosh.
Uh-huh.
Any more discussion on that? Anything else? Anybody need to know?
Put it on there.
Put it on the agenda.
I like it.
Move it over. Any commission items?
I don't.
County manager report?
I don't have anything, Mr. Chairman.
I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Make a motion.
A second.
Got a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor? Meeting adjourned.
Aye.
Thank you.